What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Pages Global back here with another video. And in this one, we are going to be breaking down day 2 of the New England Patriots versus Green Bay Packers joint practice. We already recapped day 1. If you guys want to go ahead and check that out after watching this video, and we are going to continue to recap these. It sounds like there's going to be 3 total days of practice. We are now 2 out of 3 days practice. Saturday is going to be the game. Of course, I'll be doing a post-game live over on Bleacher Report, and then at some point, either that day or the following day here on YouTube. So you guys aren't going to want to miss that, followed up by a winners and losers video from Saturday's game. On your way in, guys, please make sure you leave a big like on this video. I know you hear it from a lot of YouTubers, and you're probably like, they just want to look good with the numbers. No, guys, you liking the video actually does something, because it tells the YouTube algorithm by you liking the video that, hey, this video is good. I'm going to interact with it, and I'm going to push it out to other viewers here on not just this channel that are subscribed to this channel, but even people who are interested in Patriots content but haven't found the channel yet. So do the channel a favor. We put a lot of work into this. And of course, do your other Patriots members of this community a favor in helping them find the channel by leaving a like on your way in. Without further ado, though, let's roll that Patriots goal intro and hop into day 2, because boy, oh boy, is this probably the most in-depth practice the Patriots have had so far this offseason. Break this down as in-depth as possible while also trying to be time friendly. But like I said, there is a lot of notes to take away today. I kind of broke down my thoughts on the guys that were absent yesterday, so I'm not going to do that again today. I'm just going to list the guys that were absent. Ty Montgomery, Pierre Strong, Mike Gesicki, Calvin Anderson, Connor McDermott, who I will say didn't practice yesterday. At least nothing was said about him yesterday, but they didn't say that he was somebody who was absent. So looks like he might have gotten some type of injury at some point, whether that was back in Boston or at some point yesterday, which ultimately led to him not being a participant today, which explains Riley Reef at guard yesterday and City So over at right tackle. But Mike Onwenu, Cole Strange, Cody Russi, Trey Flowers, Ronnie Perkins, John Jones, and Cody Davis all still were absent. Nobody returned today. Nobody was limited today. So some good news and some not so great news. Overall, today was, if you were able to make today's practice, was one for the books. One that you're probably excited you skipped work for, because there were multiple fights and multiple post-snap pushing today. There was at least 7 to 8 fight/pushing matches today. So hopefully we can get some type of videos from those, but I know at practices usually they're not allowed to record. So if we're able to find any type of highlights from practice or any fights from practice, I will upload them in my shorts section. Today overall was highly competitive, highly energetic practice, not just from the Patriots, but also the Packers. This is as good as it gets when it comes to a practice. Overall, today was a very good bounce back day for the Patriots after losing pretty easily yesterday in both phases of the field. Offense was clicking all day. They didn't start hot and die out. They were clicking all day long. It was one of the best offensive practices also that we've seen from the Patriots, not just this offseason, but even from Mac Jones and this offense since 2021 when Mac was originally drafted. This is what you like to see. The important thing for me was, okay, they had not a really bad day yesterday, but they had a pretty bad day yesterday. The question mark to me was, how are they going to bounce back? That is going to be the most important thing. And they absolutely bounced back today. And I would say that the Patriots overall won today. Tomorrow is going to be kind of that determined factor, right? Packers won a day, Patriots won a day. Can the Patriots come out here on top and end the third day of practice and joint practice in general by winning the joint practice as a unit? So was definitely happy to see that. The defense also was much better today against Jordan Love. They weren't terrible against him yesterday. They just gave up a few chunk plays. Didn't sound like that was an issue here today. Unfortunately, there were some more injury concerns. And at the top of that was wide receiver Tyquan Thornton. Can't stay healthy. Couldn't stay healthy last year when the Patriots drafted him. Injured in the preseason, missed the start of the regular season, gets injured here again, misses the majority of training camp. But Tyquan Thornton leaves practice after a diving catch and did not return. Trainers were looking at his shoulder. It always seems to be something with his upper body. He was smiling, though, after, so maybe it's not as serious as it's sounding. But nonetheless, the fact that he did have to leave practice. He didn't come back and participate, constantly dealing with injuries. We'll have to ultimately see what happens, but the best ability is availability, and that is just not happening for him. Jake Andrews also left practice, the rookie guard / center, after getting rolled up on. Keon White got injured today with his left leg in practice. Teammates did take a knee next to him after the play. He eventually did get up. He walked off himself, but he walked off slowly. He did sit by himself on the sidelines afterwards. Seems to be okay, but that's a big guy, right? That's a big guy that's going to play a big factor and determine what the Patriots are able to do from a defensive standpoint because of the different defensive alignments that he's able to play in. So him being healthy is going to be absolutely key. But overall, seemed like some of these key players were getting injured today. Now, some slightly better news here in terms of injuries. Michael Onwenu isn't practicing, but he did make the trip to Green Bay and was finally doing some light conditioning. This is the most that we've seen from him this entire offseason. And then Bill Murray officially back to 100% and is no longer in a red non-contact jersey. The Patriots defense and the Packers offense got into a post-snap pushing fest. Matthew Judon was essentially the guy that was said to have caused this, as he would not get off Packers Tucker Kraft after a play. Anthony Jennings actually got kicked out of practice after he leveled Keyshawn Banks after a special teams drill. Banks took a swing at Keon White before that happened. So from what it sounds like, looks like Keon Banks, but Banks here was not happy with something that Keon White did, takes a swing at Keon White. Anthony Jennings tries to be a good teammate, doesn't appreciate that, gives him some slack back. Anthony Jennings ultimately is the one that gets kicked out of practice. Not sure why Banks didn't, but is what it is. Now, Keon White later got in the middle of another fight where there was a big pileup. A Packers helmet ended up flying off in the progress. This is the energy you'd love to see. And fighting's not okay. They won't do this in the preseason or the regular season because then you're talking about fines. Then you're talking about getting suspended for games. So players won't do that. But, I mean, come on. Joint practice fights are always fun to see because you like to see the emotions flying. But as long as nobody's getting hurt and it's not too serious, that's what matters. But it looks like Keon White was getting into the mix quite a bit in terms of the pushing and the shoving and the fighting. So moving on to each position here, like I said, a lot of general notes today. Mac Jones was 14 for 17. Bailey Zappi was 18 for 27. Man threw 27 passes in 11 on 11. That's crazy. But also threw 2 interceptions. Not a great day for him. No 7-on-7s today. Both Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi were excellent in terms of red zone drills. Mac Jones was the more consistent quarterback today in general. Bailey Zappi kind of was fading and had his inconsistencies, as you can tell. But in the red zone, both of those guys were pretty dominant. Mac Jones put up a total of 4 touchdowns to Bailey Zappi's 6 touchdowns. Mac Jones overall, again, one of the best practices that we've seen from him, while Bailey Zappi was having some issues in terms of getting his passes swatted down at the line of scrimmage. This is something that Bailey Zappi has had a big issue with. I'm not sure if it's issues with continuity along the offensive line, but the fact that he can't even get his passes over his offensive lineman and is having issues with passes getting swatted down, not something you want to see from a year 2 quarterback. I'm not sure why this is developing for him all of a sudden, but no other quarterbacks having an issue except him, so there's really no excuse. Moving on to running backs, Ezekiel Elliott was involved quite a bit for the Patriots in team drills today versus yesterday, where he really wasn't getting any opportunities in team drills whatsoever. He was limited, and I told you guys, it's not injury concerns, it's not injury related. It's because he literally just got here. He just signed with the Patriots a day or 2 prior. He hadn't gotten the playbook yet. He hadn't gotten Patriots merch yet from the team. So he still needed to be divulged into it a little bit. Seems like after practice, he was able to do that and come out guns blazing today. He took 3 out of 6 first team reps in red zone drills today. He also got a good amount of goal line work, scoring multiple touchdowns already today. He looks good to go. I'll be curious to see if we get to see him in this preseason game or week 3 of the preseason at all. But I would assume that because he hasn't played in the system too much, because, obviously it's been a while since he's been conditioned for football, that they'd like to get him probably a few reps to get him ready for week 1. It was also that he has a little bit of an attitude toward him. Not a bad attitude, but spicy, fired up, ready to go. And that's exactly what you like to see. And then J.J. Taylor shook a defender after a catch on one play, and teammates were going absolutely insane. Something that I also took away from today was the fact that from both sides, especially the Patriots side, these guys were hyped up. When your guy's making a play, everybody is on the field, flying, hands up, screaming. When one player from their team makes a good play, they're letting the opposite team know that they just messed up. And that's what you like to see, that competition between each other. Saturday is going to be a good game. Wide receivers today, Demario Douglas and Kayshon Boutte, both the rookies had drops today. Juju Smith-Schuster had multiple receptions today, including a touchdown in 11-on-11s. Devontae Parker continuing to stand out and being the guy that picks up chunk plays for the Patriots. He had a touchdown catch over star cornerback Jair Alexander in 11s and also had a touchdown pass working with Bailey Zappi. Parker later hauled in also a 40-yard touchdown over cornerback Rasul Douglas from Mac Jones in a also against Jair Alexander. I'll try to get that video up in my short section. Burned Jair Alexander. It wasn't even close. You would expect from a top corner in the league for that to be a little bit closer, but Tyquan Thornton also ran a great vertical route. He got open, the ball came his way, and the defender tried to tackle him. Ultimately didn't do it right, and it caused a defensive pass interference. Thornton later got a 40-yard completion where he made a diving catch from a Mac Jones pass. He later beat Jair Alexander on the play, easily his top play of camp so far. Demario Douglas had 2 touchdown catches from Bailey Zappi in 11-on-11s. Kayshon Boutte scored on a whip route on a throw from Zappi where he beat the buzzer beater in a 2-minute drill. Did a nice job keeping his feet in bounds. And again, the Patriots sideline went absolutely crazy. Seems like Kayshon Boutte and those whip routes seem to be like his route. Every player has a specific route. Like Josh Gordon when he was here, his slants, those were his thing. Devontae Parker, go route. That's his thing. Sounds like a whip route is Kayshon Boutte's thing. So something to keep an eye out for there. Trey Nixon also hauled in a 35-yard Bailey Zappi pass for a touchdown on what was a perfect throw from Bailey Zappi. Malik Cunningham still not really getting work with the Patriots quarterbacks. He's in a white jersey, not in a red jersey, but made a really nice catch in the middle of the field during a 2-minute drill. I don't know how many times I have to say it. I'm going to have to make a video about this. He's not competing for QB1. He's not QB1. He played a good game in the fourth quarter. Hopefully we can continue to see how he, performs and develops at quarterback, but they're not seeing him as a true quarterback. They might give him snaps in the fourth quarter, but at the end of the day, they're viewing him as a wide receiver, as a gadget player. So let's just stop with him making the roster because it's not happening. Moving on to tight ends, Hunter Henry and Mac Jones connected on a seam route. Mac threw a great anticipated throw before Hunter Henry got his head around. That's what you like to see. And that comes with trust and that comes with connection. And we've seen that develop with Mac Jones and a multitude of different guys. We've seen it with Mac Jones and Hunter Henry. We saw it a lot so far, especially yesterday with Mac Jones and Devontae Parker. These are the types of connections and difference makers that are going to help the Patriots succeed next year, especially when Mac Jones is under pressure. He's under duress. He doesn't have time to set his feet, and he just has to throw the ball. He has to go to guys that he knows is just going to make a play on the ball. Now, Matt Sokol drew the most snaps at tight end today after Hunter Henry, obviously with Gesicki being out, and then Anthony Fersker had a touchdown in 11-on-11s. As for the offensive line, we didn't get a total breakdown from left to right from first team and second team, but it was an improved day from the Patriots offensive line. Run blocking was a lot better. They were pretty good yesterday, but it was a lot better today, more crisp. And then today in terms of Pass protection, it's still a work in progress, but today was a lot better than it was yesterday. Yesterday, though, they also allowed 13 sacks, so I would hope it's nowhere close to what it was. No news on the defensive line. Marte Mapu laid a big hit on Tucker Kraft. He was slow to get up after and did leave practice with the trainers. Not what you like to see. Not what you like to see. A guy who finally got out of that red non-contact jersey yesterday is going to be a big piece of this team. Happy that he's finally able to get contact and actually start adding that to his repertoire and getting ready for the season, but gets injured on the play. Hopefully nothing serious. Like I said, multiple rookies today, especially getting injured, but multiple key players for the Pats today with some lingering issues in terms of injuries. As for cornerbacks, Marcus Jones had an interception. Jack Jones had 2 pass breakups. Christian Gonzalez had 1. And then Isaiah Bolden and Rodney Randall also had 1. And then to move this on over to safeties to end today's video off, Kyle Duggar had an interception today, and then Adrian Phillips would have had an interception, ultimately drops it on an interception that would have came from Sean Clifford into the end zone. Player, sorry, I wrote this down wrong. Ultimately, the Packers sideline went crazy. I don't know what I was writing there, but long story short, Adrian Phillips should have had an interception from Sean Clifford in the end zone. Packers sideline went nuts. They let Adrian Phillips know, yeah, dude, you should have had that interception, but you didn't. And then no news on the special teams today. Was really excited to hear how the dynamic was going to work between Chad Ryland and Nick Folk today, after Chad Ryland was easily the better player, but didn't get any news on that today. What are your guys' thoughts, though, on day 2 from Patriots versus Packers joint practice? Patriots versus Packers joint practice. Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video and, of course, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. I appreciate you guys for watching, and, of course, never forget